Jason is incredible. Hadley, I feel like you have something to do with this. I'm going to call you after the show.
Influence, but some influence.
Caitlin Clark has 3.9 million followers. That's how an athlete has to be if they're going to go out there and perform, especially when you have as much.
As long as Caitlin Clark play again. You realize she didn't go to the free throw line one time.
Problem outside of her on court, well, getting ball is going to beat the snot out of 97% of the team.
Fourth best guard on the court. She should always be the best guard on the court.
Harris, they got so desperate, they threw in Raven Johnson.
Indiana Fever's offense. They put up 100 yesterday. I mean, they put up 100. And even in
right out of the gate, Maurice pushes back hard on the idea that Iowa didn't prepare Clark for the 1BA, pointing out she carried real, nightly pressure to deliver for her team in a way some of her peers, like Paige Buchers at UConn, simply didn't have to. That's a fair, substantive basketball argument about roster construction and pressure, not just a hot take.
32.7 assist game. You know what we talked about, Virgil? We talked about 12 people putting up signs for Sophie Cunningham. We talked about signs in the stands. We talked about an old overweight lady sitting in the front row as a plant. We never talk about the 32 points. Ironically, the one time in over 3 weeks where she has 19 points and 10 assists, and I agree, she was the fourth best guard on the court in that game. I'm not refuting that. But the one time you feel
This is a preview. And here's the actual media criticism angle driving this whole segment. The claim that Fearless went an entire 10-show stretch, from mid-July into early August, without playing a single Caitlin Clark highlight while she was averaging 29 points and 9 assists a game. That's a specific checkable claim about editorial choices, not just vibes.
Pointers, when she really is under stress against Golden State, when she's really under stress against Minnesota, that's my shtick, to put you ahead of the conversation, not just to say, well, it's incredible what she did here with the 45-point deal. I'm going to let you do that, and, I'm going to do something else.
we are all season, and Charles and I have agreed, we've all agreed, the Indiana Fever, if you are a middle of the pack or a bottom feeder, you don't have enough to keep up. They can get away with.
The 45-point, 10-assist double-double reference here is completely real. Clark set that mark on July 17th against Seattle, the first 40-10 game in 1BA history, and it's confirmed by ESPN, Yahoo, and the league's own site. If a real historic performance like that doesn't get discussed on a major sports debate show, that's a legitimate editorial choice worth questioning.
The real game that's coming, and we need her to have a triple. They gift wrapped her. They kept sending her to the free throw line, and I said, hey, that's not going to happen in Minnesota. Cheryl Reeves will get tossed out of the game. She'll shut this thing down if they officiate her the way they did against Portland, because the way they officiated her against Portland was fraudulent. Plain and simple, it was. Second half, they just kept sending her to the free throw line. There was no contact. Things that I saw Kelsey Mitchell go to the hole against Minnesota. They wouldn't call anything, even when she was contacted. And
the frustration about fan-signed discourse getting more airtime than a 32-point, 11-assist game is a real, specific media priorities complaint, and it's the kind of thing that's genuinely worth holding a national sports show accountable for, regardless of how you feel about Clark personally.
Clark was up to something. I called him yesterday. He refused to answer my call. I knew he was up to no good. I knew it.
That is gaslighting in the highest form, what you just did right there. That is mind-boggling how you just did that, man. I knew at some point today that you was going to go to Paige Buchers. I didn't know it was going to be your opening statement.
No, Charles. Hey, remember, because this didn't make the show, because this was over the weekend. When Caitlin Clark was scoring 32, Jason Whitlock texted chat, oh, man, all of these free throws. It's
the stat cited here, a stretch shooting 55% from the floor, 46% from three, 90% from the line, is the kind of efficiency number that would dominate coverage for almost any other player in any other sport, and the pushback about it getting ignored until one below-average game happens is a fair, pattern-based critique of selective coverage.
We never talk about the 32 points. Ironically, The one time in over 3 weeks where she has 19 points and 10 assists, and I agree, she was the fourth best guard on the court in that game. I'm not refuting that. But the one time you feel like she didn't meet the bill is the only time a highlight ever gets played on the show. It's been 10 shows where the girl averaged 30 and 10. Oh, because I know Dre, he used to talk about percentages because, they pulled this little trick on me with the Atlanta Dream third quarter. They waited until one bad third quarter to actually.
The free throw double standard call-out is worth sitting with, pointing out that Aja Wilson scored 36 points on 14 free throws with zero criticism about the volume, while Clark drawing contact gets framed as somehow suspicious, is exactly the kind of inconsistency that's fair to call out in real time.
What happens against Connecticut and Seattle? That's not what a rubber meets the road. I mean, the moment of truth is, what are you going to do against Seattle? I mean, Minnesota. What are you going to do against the elite teams? And let me say this: Caitlin Clark did not play bad Sunday. She did not play bad at all. She was up against some people whose talent level was similar to hers, and they played better. But it wasn't that she.
Dre's homeschooled analogy is actually a thoughtful basketball point once you get past the loaded label. The idea that some players who never face real adversity in college can get exposed once real competition arrives in the pros. It's a real basketball development theory, not an insult, even if the framing got heated in the moment.
Kayla may very well light her up the next time they play. All right. But
she will. We take names. We take names around here, Charles. Okay, she will. Don't even worry about it.
Remember you said that, man. But I'm saying is it's more than capable that the other one may play better. Because they're all good players. And so it's the moment of truth. It's who's.
The signal versus noise breakdown here is genuinely one of the smarter points in this whole segment. 3.9 million Instagram followers, a cult of supporters, and a cult of critics, and the argument that none of that actually matters compared to what happens on the court. That's solid, level-headed media advice for any athlete under this kind of scrutiny.
The Fever were going to win. I thought they were going to lose.
No, I hoped the Fever would win. I hoped.
Well, take hope out of it.
But Charles, you don't think it's ironic? You don't think it's ironic that for 2 straight 10-show set, 2 straight different months of times, 10 straight shows, when a girl's averaging nearly 30 and 10, we never talk. So we just never talk about it. We talk about T-shirts.
The Game of Thrones hate watch analogy is a fair defense of tough love criticism. The idea that pointing out flaws in something you genuinely care about isn't the same as hating it. Whether or not you buy that as a full defense of the specific commentary being discussed, it's a reasonable framework for how sports criticism is supposed to work.
I saw Kelsey Mitchell go to the hole against Minnesota. They wouldn't call anything, even when she was contacted. And I saw Kelsey Mitchell get up and just keep playing, even though there were things that should have been called. They were going to referee the game different. I'm trying to keep you ahead of the conversation, Maurice. I'm trying to,
The basketball analysis here is legitimate and stat-supported. Indiana can run up the score against bottom feeder and middle-of-the-pack teams while getting away with real defensive lapses, like the 16 offensive rebounds they gave up to Seattle, but they genuinely haven't beaten the league's upper echelon teams consistently this season. That's a real, fair critique independent of any media coverage debate.
We got to the NBA, got a rude awakening, but he made an adjustment, the internal adjustment. That leads to my final point. When it comes to the Caitlin cult, as you say, Jason, and as Maurice seems to be a card-carrying member of, the Caitlin cult, it doesn't matter what the fans say. In sports, all that matters is what happens on the court or on the field. The fans can trash you. The fans can celebrate you. They can rationalize every time you get your butt kicked. Allen Iverson fans rationalize when he lost. Michael Jordan fans rationalize his losses. LeBron fans rationalize his. It doesn't matter what the fans say. All that matters is how the player responds when they get back on the court.
The free throw pattern argument gets sharper here, pointing out Clark didn't shoot a single non-technical free throw in a specific recent game, then connecting it to a broader claim that officiating tightens up specifically against elite defensive teams like Minnesota. Calling specific officiating fraudulent is a strong opinionated word choice worth flagging as opinion rather than a proven fact, But the underlying pattern of inconsistent whistle rates by opponent is a real, trackable stat worth investigating further.
Rationalize his losses. LeBron fans rationalize his. It doesn't matter what the fans say. All that matters is how the player responds when they get back on the court. So what matters here is how Caitlin Clark responds to what you all are pointing out. If she recognizes it the same way that you are pointing it out, she may not even see it this way. She may be completely oblivious to all of this.
And the closing basketball breakdown is genuinely solid analysis, crediting Minnesota's ball screen defense, Cheryl Reeves' coaching, and real roster depth advantages, while still making the case that Indiana's top 3 talent can compete with anybody if everything clicks. That's a nuanced, credible take, not just a hot take for the sake of engagement.
Double. Virgil, I didn't even get invited on the dang show the next day. It's insanity. It doesn't stop there, guys. Jason is incredible. Hadley, I feel like you have something to do with this. I'm going to call you after the show. A 32.7 assist game. You know what we talked about, Virgil? We talked about 12 people putting up signs for Sophie Cunningham. We talked about signs in the stands. We talked about an old overweight lady sitting in the front row as a plant. We never talk about the 32 points.